Hi, Mike. When you're seeing this, you're graduated from boot camp because your dad and your mom will take it out to you. I've got a letter that's part of what I'm giving you for your graduation, but I wanted to kind of explain it all to you because it's kind of complex and it's an interesting story. When I found out you were going in the Army, I wanted to get something for you that would protect you, both mentally and physically. I wanted you to be okay physically, but I wanted you to come out of your Army experience mentally whole and complete. A lot of the guys don't. So I went to my go-to guy for that is a guy named Rongi Kohi. He's a chief in one of the Maori tribes there in New Zealand, what they call iwis. And I went to him because the Maoris are one of the fiercest warrior people that ever existed. These are some people that defeated the British with swords and rock weapons when the British had cannons and muskets. So I asked Rongi. I said, what do you got? I want to get something for my nephew. And he wanted time to think about it. So he came back a couple weeks later, and he said, I talked to this holy woman that we have, and she said she'd do it, whatever that is, So a couple weeks later, he invited me and my wife up to go with him to see this woman, and it turns out she's from Texas. She's a white woman. She's Cherokee Indian too. She's part Cherokee, and but she's lived there in New Zealand for like 15, 18 years. She knows the Maori customs and mythology more across the whole country, whereas Rongi just knows his tribe. And we went through her house. Rongi got out of the car. He blessed the ground for what was about to happen, did a karamia, which is a prayer, and to bless the ground. Then we went to her house, and she's an artist. She sat me down. She says, okay. She says, here's the reason why I wanted to do this. She says, I have two brothers that went to Vietnam. One of them was in the Navy, didn't see much action, and came back fine. The other one was in Black Ops, and he came back not fine. And he struggled with it. He found his way, and for the last 20 years, he's been counseling returning soldiers, to get them back into society, etc., to get over their war experience. And I wanted to do that for your nephew. I don't know this woman. I never met her before. This is just all something that the universe is presenting to all of us. So she sat down. She said, all right, so here's the way it works. In the Maori system, they have all kinds of rituals and things that get their soldiers ready for battle, to make them intense, get them riled up, get them ready to endure battle itself. And then they have a whole set of rituals to get people out of that situation when it's done so that they can go back to normal life. And that's what we're going to do here today. So she says, the first thing I needed to get for you was something that connected you to your nephew. Because this all comes from the soil in New Zealand. This comes from the energy and the rocks and the sky and the water and all of the energy in New Zealand. And it's coming through you because you live here. So she says, I went to a carver. It's a guy named Frank Welch. I'd heard about him, Mike. He's considered, if not the finest, if not the finest Maori carver of stone, certainly one of the best. You can't buy his work. And he made this for you. So that's what this piece is right here. This is a amulet that's carved by Frank Welch. You'll see it. Your dad will be handing it to you about now. And, you see these kind of things all over New Zealand. I've seen hundreds of them. I've never seen anything like this. The workmanship and the quality of this piece is just beyond anything I've ever seen. When you feel it, it's got an amazing feel to it and energy. And it's made to be a necklace. It's not something that you would wear in battle because it would have danger, be on your neck. But it's something that you can carry, and it connects me to you. Right? This is jade, black jade. It's pulled out of the river near where her name's Princess Heart. It's where she lives, and this is a holy stone for the Maori. So that's the first part of it. The paper, by the way, is paper she made. So I'm going to wrap that up real quick to protect it. Alright, now the second thing that you're going to get is a battle talisman. This is something that you will carry it in your pocket when you go into battle. And let me tell you how this came to be. She contacted her brother up in Texas about you. And so what he sent down was this. And or part of it. He sent this part from here, from my fingers on up. This is made by a Vietnam vet, a friend of his in Texas. This is from a horse's mane. He did this weaving himself down to here, and he gave it to Rex. Is his name, Rex Hart. He gave it, or I don't know what his last name is, to Rex to give to you. Here, guys, going to battle. He needs this. The arrowhead. She's as I said, she's Cherokee. She's from, her tribe was in South Carolina. She found this arrowhead near the gravestones, the graveyard of her family, and 27 years ago. Right? She collected it. She's carried it with her for 27 years, and it has its obvious application to battle. It's an arrowhead, and then she weaved the red portion of that to connect the two. And these represent the bloodlines between her and her brother. So it's very lightweight. It's something that you can carry with you into battle, and you're going to be okay. The next part of it is that's a black jade. This is green jade. This is from she had bought a larger jade rock. She said. It was up in the North Island still, and so she had him just chip off a piece and overnight it to her in time, and she smoothed it. This is just a worry stone, Mike. You carry it in your pocket. You stroke that instead of your own little tool down there, and it makes you feel better. Maybe not as good as stroking your own tool, but that's up to you. It's very comforting. It's soothing. It's very comforting. She explained that the rest of the loop for you, so you got this connection to me through your amulet there, you've got your battle talisman, which is her connection to her family and her experience through Rex, and then the rest of this rock is coming down to her in the South Island where I live. She promised me this loops you back to her and back to the land in New Zealand. And she promised me she would keep the main portion of this rock with her on her ranch until you're out of the army. So this is your loop back to New Zealand. There'll be in this little thing. It's called a kete, K-E-T-E, which is a basket. That means basket in Maori. There are three mythical kete of knowledge in the Maori culture. There's a knowledge of war and conflict. There's a knowledge of peace and the arts, and then there's a knowledge of ritual. So this kete, she hand wove. It's made from New Zealand flax with some locally collected feathers that represent those different ketes of knowledge. This little blue thing on here, she added to it this, I forget what it's called. She said if you're in the Mideast, where you're likely to be, this is a very common thing that you'll see that the people wear there. It's a little protective talisman. It's a good luck charm or whatever. And so she added it to your kete to give you something specifically protective in the Mideast. And the little piece of black jade that was handed to me, she said that's a gift from Frank Welch to your nephew. and to you. Can't buy this stuff, Mike. It just comes from people loving me and me loving you and wanting the best for you. And I hope that you enjoy it. I think it's just a beautiful story for me. It was a very amazing day for me. Once all these things were presented, by the way, Rangi performed a karamia and blessed them all in the Maori culture. And these are my karamia for you. Good luck. Do well. I know you will. And I'll look forward to seeing you as soon as I can.